Hello, I'm David Withers and I'm the Managing Director of Iseki here in the UK, and today we're going to give you a virtual demonstration of our SRA950 brush cutter. We had a lot of people who were scheduled to have demonstrations of this machine over the next 3 or 4 weeks, and unfortunately they're unable to have that due to this coronavirus situation. So we figured if we can't come to you, then maybe we can come to you virtually instead. So this paddock where we are here is within walking distance of my home. The camera person is a member of my household, and we have this machine right nearby, so we're not breaking any of the coronavirus protocols by shooting this film and getting it out to you. So let's have a look at this machine. This is the SRA950F, and it's a brush cutter as we call it. So what do we mean by a brush cutter? What would you use this kind of machine for? Clearing paths would be a very common use. Getting rid of brambles, really overgrown areas, places where you've really got to knock down something that's almost got out of control. People use them in those areas. You can also use it as a slope mower. It goes up to 25 degrees. You can mow a 25-degree slope with this, so it's pretty good in that application as well. And some people use them like in orchards and around that area, because in fact, even on relatively good grass, it does leave a very good finish. So we're going to go through this machine and then we'll go cut some grass and show you what it will do. And we're going to start off by looking at the engine. So I've loosened off a hand wheel there, which has enabled me now to be able to pull back the whole operator's platform and reveal the engine. So what have we got here? We've got a 24 horsepower Kawasaki V-twin with a pressurized oil system. I mentioned earlier we could go on a slope of 25 degrees. That means we need a pressurized system so the engine gets sufficient oil in all its different areas. Really easy to get at. Filler cap here, filters are here, hydrostatic oil goes in here, battery at the back. All very simple, very easy to get at and maintain. So we'll just pop the operator's platform back again, and now we'll have a look at the controls. So we're going to look through the controls. We'll start off down the left hand side and really focus here on how we control our deck to begin with. So the deck is lifted up at the moment. It's pulled right the way back and locked in place there, and we've lifted the deck up. I can then drop the deck by different increments here, but obviously when you're going along, you don't know quite which notch you're in, and you don't want to get a different height every time you lift and lower. So there's a little button here, a little knob here, and I can adjust this up and down, and that then locks it in place. So let's say I wanted to cut at 85 millimeters. I'd put this forward to 85 mil, which is where that is there, and then I'm going to adjust this up so it just touches that other lever. So then whenever I'm mowing, when I want to drop it, it just automatically goes back to 85 because I've blocked that off. So that makes it nice and easy to control the height of cut. To actually engage the deck, I'm going to throw this lever here forwards, and that actually engages the clutch, which then turns the blade underneath. You'll notice both these are yellow. The yellow levers are all to do with the deck drive, and likewise you can see some orange levers here. The orange levers are all to do with the actual traction, the forward motion of the machine. So now we'll move on to the orange levers and look at them. So now we're looking down the right hand side, which is predominantly to do with the forward motion of the machine. So you can see here we've got a forward and reverse hydrostatic treadle. It's a hydrostatic drive, four-wheel drive machine. But I can also, as well as using my feet to control the forward or backward motion of the machine, I can actually use this lever here. So I can either make the machine go forwards by pressing this pedal down, or by throwing this forwards, and the same if I want to go backwards there. And you'll find actually when you're in certain conditions it's much easier to use the hand control than it is to use the foot control. And when we're going through some brambles and stuff later on, I'll show you why that is. Other lever here is the throttle. We have a just tick over here. Then there's an eco setting, which is about 85% power, 90% power, and that is quieter and uses less fuel. But obviously if we were extreme conditions, you're going to put it all the way down into maximum revs there. We also have a diff lock over here. So I mentioned it was four-wheel drive, the machine. In really extremely slippery conditions, or where it's really difficult to get out of, you might need to put the diff lock in place, and you can do that just while you're going along. Just pull it up into place and the diff will lock, and then all four wheels will drive. And finally, over on this side we have the brake pedal, so you have got a brake there for if you need to stop the vehicle. So Other controls that there are here, obviously we've got the ignition switch to turn it on and off. There's a choke there, as I mentioned before, it is a petrol engine. We've got lights on the front, LED lights that we can turn on and off here. Hour meter is here, and then this is an inclinometer. So that gives you an idea of the slope that you're on. So you can kind of see there, green is up to 10 degrees, and then yellow up to 20, and then you're getting towards the limits of what the machine can do when you're getting towards that 25. So that's very important to look at as you're driving the machine. Finally, a large fuel filler at the front here. Fuel tank is at the front, so we're able to easily fill it up with petrol. So, having kind of gone through the machine a little bit here, we're going to take it out and cut some grass with it. So, we're over in an area of the paddock here that hasn't actually been cut for a year or so. Obviously died down over the autumn and winter, but now it's coming back strongly. We've got a lot of thistles, we've got cow parsley, grass and various other weeds and stuff. We're going to run through this and give that a cut. One of the things you might notice as well is I'm not wearing a seat belt. The reason I'm not wearing a seat belt is this is not a ROPS, this is just a safety frame. And so obviously if you've got a ROPS, you must wear a seat belt, but if you just have a safety frame, then you don't use one. So I'm going to fire it up and we'll give it a go through here. Hopefully you're going to be able to continue to hear me. So I release the brake. I'm going to drop it to my 85 millimeters. I can now engage the throttle, the cutters, and now we're just going to trundle through this. And you can kind of hear that it's barely making the engine go at all, and this is still in economy mode. We're not using full power here. We don't need it for these kind of conditions. We've got some brambles later where maybe we do need it, but we don't need it right here. Just do another path through here. You know, you get an idea that it's just easy. You know, it doesn't matter what it is. Fundamentally, if it will push it over, then it will cut it. And you can just see that there, just easily cutting it through. So one of the other advantages of this machine is that it does have a tow bar on the back. And in fact, it is rated for 300 kilos of towing. So for moving a little trailer like this around the garden, or around between paddocks, it's absolutely ideal. You might also notice I'm just using my hand to drive it here rather than the foot throttle. So another great use for this machine is actually kind of clearing paths here. You can see one here. So I just put the deck down, I'll engage the deck. I'm just going to run along the side of this fence here. Just cut this stuff down so that it's better for people as they walk up the path here. Don't have to worry too much about what there is there. It'll pretty much just go through anything. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. You can see I've got some pretty horrible weed here I'm going through. Just about to get to a big stand of bramble here. So we are going to put it on full power now. Hear the engine rev go up because this is pretty extreme what we're going through. But you can see we're just going to chomp our way through the bramble. Now one of the good things to do if it's really heavy like that is just immediately just kind of back up over it again, and you can see we're just clearing a path there. I'm going to do one more pass over here. Just got to get this bit of wood out of the way, and here we go. We're right into this heavy old nasty bramble. Just chomping through it. As I said, we'll back up again. It just beats it down. It's amazing. So I'm standing where there was a huge stand of brambles here, and we've just ploughed right the way through it and cleared all this pathway out. Part of the reason we can do that, we've got a really big heavy blade under there with swinging tips at the end. So if the tips hit something really hard, like we ran over some logs back there, they just bounce back out of the way, and then they go out again as the blade continues to spin, so they don't damage themselves. And that's why we can chomp through this kind of material. So I'm driving along here. This is just looking at the inclinometer there. It's around about a 20-degree slope I'm on. We're just making a pass along here. It's just a slope goes down to a lake here. And you can see the machine is just chugging along here. I don't feel like we're on the edge of its capacity. I haven't got the diff lock on, we're just using it in four-wheel drive. And it's going along here very comfortably. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've been blown away by the performance of this machine. You really have got to see it for yourselves. Hopefully one day we can get it out at your facilities as well so you can see it in the flesh. But it's amazing performance, whether it's through brambles, down paths, on slopes, it really does perform exceptionally well. So if you've got an Iseki already and you're looking for parts or service or support, don't forget our dealers are still open even during this difficult time. And they're able to provide you with all those services that you need in a responsible and safe manner. And the same goes for products as well. If you need one, we're able to get that delivered to you in a very safe and responsible manner. So, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay safe.